Today is February 8th, and we are back doing a video. I felt like the need to make one this morning just to kind of give everybody an update of what's really going on. Market, of course, is crazy. And so we had a good weekend. We had about 8 offers that were sent this weekend, and none of them got accepted. So yeah, or actually no. Okay, I don't know that, right? So we got 8 of them, 8 offers, but majority of them, and I'm saying it this way just because like the market is crazy, and a lot of my agents have called me submitting offers, which I'm happy about, and everybody seems to be back in the swing of things. But at the same time, we're still in the mindset that we can get a deal. And right now, deals are not happening. So if we're writing offers, if we're showing clients, we need to make sure we're setting expectations with those clients. Hey, Mr. Client, based on our criteria, based on our scenario, we need to make sure that we're submitting our highest and bests immediately. Where there is no time to, test the waters. Let's send them a low offer to maybe see where they come back at. Every house on the market right now is having multiple offers. We are at a 1.5 month, what's it called, inventory rate. So what that means is if no new houses come on the market in 1.5 months, all the houses are going to be sold. Every single one that's on the market currently, if we do not have any more listings coming on, that pretty much means, guys, that in 1.5 months, what is that? That's closing time. It takes 30 to 45 days to close a house. That means every house on the market almost is under contract. So anything that is coming up new or coming up on the market, we need to make sure that we're seeing it as soon as possible, and we are writing the highest and best offer that we can. Mr. Client, I understand that we want a deal. We want to try and test the waters, but if you want that house, we're going to need to more than likely submit an offer that is asking price or over asking price if we can. And if we need concessions, then that asking price is going to definitely have to increase, right? So if your buyer needs concessions, hey, Mr. Client, I based on our scenario, it is going to be tough. Most sellers right now don't need to give away concessions. There's plenty of competition, so don't get discouraged. Don't get bogged down by any means. Let's keep submitting offers, but know that we are putting ourselves in a sense in a deficit, right? Because we're having to ask for money from the seller, and just making sure you have those conversations again. I mean, it's much better to be like, hey, we're going to try our best and we're going to do what we can. And, given the situation we're in, this is what we can expect, instead of, yeah, we can find whatever you want. Let's go ahead and go shopping. We're going to get you a good deal. And, having those conversations to try and get somebody to buy, right? And now you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot, oh, it's a great real estate market. We can get you in the house. We can do all these things. And I know we want to be hot and fluffy and sound good whenever we're trying to prospect these buyers, but we need to be more realistic. Hey, how much cash do you have? What are we looking at? Can you get a loan from your parents? What is the case, so we can really understand what that buyer needs, instead of just saying, yeah, we can do it. We can do it. We can help you, and everything's going to be rosy. We'll get you in a house real quick. We need to not do that, and just make sure we're really, really, really setting those expectations, making sure we're going asking or above asking, because that is what's going on. Even if the houses we see that aren't appraising, or seeing that they are 20K over everything else in the market, don't think about it anymore. Nobody is thinking anymore about these houses. They are just acting and putting offers and going over and beyond. And thankfully, because of the contracts we write, we have those outs. We can get out of the contract if the appraisal comes in low, or if something happens. And at the same time, make sure to have those conversations with your buyer. Set that expectation. Hey, buyer, this is the scenario. Even if we do get to the appraisal language, and let's say the house doesn't appraise, the seller doesn't have to lower the price. And it is the cost of doing business. It is the cost of potentially getting you into your home. Are you willing to take that risk? Are you willing to take those costs? And if they are, then yes. If they're not, if they're hesitant, then maybe we should wait. I understand that we want to close these deals and we want to do these things, but we also want to maintain a good reputation with ourselves and with our clientele. It's, oh, well, Alan really just couldn't get it done for me. And I don't want to work with that group anymore just because they couldn't. And, they promised me all these things, but they just couldn't get it done. Right. We never want to put ourselves in those scenarios. I mean, we really want to make sure that we're setting, hey, Alan was really, really good about, telling me, what exactly I needed to do, how I needed to do it. And at the end of the day, you know what, it was really on me because, I didn't have enough cash or I didn't have what I needed to do. And then it really turns that back onto them and not onto you. When you set those expectations, you let them know exactly what they need. And if they don't have it, then we're going to try our best. And that's all we can do, is just try our best to get you the best possible house for the price. But at the same time, don't blame me when it's your scenario and your lack of, cash on hand or financing ability or pre-qualification amount that we just can't get the house that we're submitting offers on, right? If we're being attentive, we're being true and honest, and time is of the essence, and submitting these offers and doing our job in a sense and doing it well, then there really shouldn't be any backlash on us, as long as we're setting those expectations. And that is the huge thing, especially right now, because people are just getting so discouraged. They're thinking that they don't need a whole lot right now, but right now the inventory market is pretty tough. um, so that was my main thing I wanted to discuss, was just really having those conversations. And if you guys want to give me a call and practice those conversations, and hey Alan, what do I tell this buyer? How do I go ahead and word it? Give me a call. We can role play. We can go ahead and do a lot of those things, and we can make you solid and help you go through those things, because it is a tough conversation. But the better you get at it and the more you explain to them of what exactly is going on, the better we'll be. Also, new builds, right? New builds are a great thing. I know Phil has really been pushing those new builds a lot, which is awesome, because that is where we're going. That is where majority of buyers are going to start having to go, because they do have better buyer incentives. They are able to be a little bit more flexible than your typical resale, because the resales are just flying off the shelves at any point in time. Let's go get a house that's not even built yet, right? It's a much easier scenario than trying to compete for a house that's existing. If you go and get a house that isn't built, we can wait 6 months, whatever the case may be, then great. Let's go ahead and do that. And I like that strategy. The second thing that I wanted to talk about is we signed up for Cole Realty Resource. And what that is a lead generation platform that you select an address in a neighborhood that you want, and you can get all those phone numbers, every single phone number in that neighborhood that is available. It'll get it to you. It'll give you their emails, their cell phone numbers, their landlines, any information that you need from them to get in contact with them, to start cold calling, to start marketing to them. Hey, I'm hosting an open house in this neighborhood next week. I'm going to call everybody in that neighborhood and let them know I'm doing an open house. And if they are interested in selling their house, I'd be more than happy to set an appointment with them, or just to come in. And if maybe they will have a brother or sister or cousin that want to move into the neighborhood, tons of people like their friends and family to live close proximity to them. So, hey, I'm doing an open house. I'm trying to see, just getting some more information out from the neighbors. If you know anybody looking to buy in the area, it's this price, strike up that conversation. Oh, wow, I didn't even know my house was worth that much. That house is going for that. And, just kind of do that. So Cole Realty Resource. I'll send everybody the logins. There's also a quick video that I need to watch, and just making sure that everybody's utilizing it properly, and just getting the hang of it. But at the same time, I think it's an amazing resource. A lot of other brokerages are using it right now, just because we have to find other avenues of how we're going to find a deal, right? Find those listings. So that is coming out. That is going to be implemented this week, and we will give everybody logins. That way we can just start cold calling and getting as many phone numbers as we can to start getting as much business as we can, just because the people who are going to be pushing a little bit harder are going to be the ones winning this year. Um, and that's the bottom line, right? We have to keep pushing, even though things may come up cold. We just keep pushing and pushing, and it's always right before you want to quit that great things start happening, right? So if you just keep pushing just a little bit more, I know great things are going to happen, and it has been happening. We had 8 contracts this weekend. I think probably 3 of them will really go under contract. There's some pretty good solid ones. The other ones, after talking with the agent, they were just, trying to get a deal for their client. And I'm trying to let them know and make them have those conversations that, hey, there are no deals right now. There really aren't, unless you're buying cash, unless you're finding a house that just needs to be completely updated and renovated and flipped. There's really not a whole lot of deals right now. And we need to just be setting those conversations, having those talks with our clients, and just letting them know, hey, this is the deal. This is, if you really want a house right now, we got to put our best foot forward. And that means lowering your inspection periods. Get your inspectors on the phone. And what is your turnaround? Before I submit any offers, talk to your inspector. What is my turnaround time on an inspection? 2 days, 3 days, 5 days. So I can make my inspection period those 2 days, 5 days, 3 days. Super short. Do your buyers have enough money to pay for their closing costs and their down payment and maybe a title policy or the survey, or just taking away the home warranties, taking away any concessions, lowering the close date? Get with your lender. If you have a buyer who's pre-qualified, tell that lender to fully qualify them now. Get my buyer qualified completely now so that I can close in 20 days, so I can close in 25 days, so I can close in a shorter amount of time. And these are the things that sellers are looking for. They want more money in shorter time, right? So why is cash king? Because they can get money in a week, 2 weeks, and they don't have to deal with anything, right? Can't ask the lenders, can these FHA buyers go conventional? Do they have the cash? Ask your lenders, will they supply a 1% rebate? I know a lot of lenders will actually pay for a title policy, or they'll give your buyer back 1% to put towards something, whether it's their closing costs or their title policy, or they'll pay for a survey, or they pay for appraisal, something to give your buyer a little bit more gusto in these offers, right? Talk to your vendors, talk to your suppliers, talk to all these people that may be able to help your buyer get a better deal. Or down payment assistance, right? Down payment assistance is huge. I had a buyer close last week, and they actually made $800 out of the deal. They got $800 back because they had a down payment assistance program. Plus, we got some concessions for them, thankfully. And on top of that, it was something else, right? So they were super happy. They got $800 back. Very, very rare case. I don't know how this deal got done the way it is. The house was just randomly there. I don't know why people didn't pick it up, but the clients I had picked it up, which was awesome. But bottom line, guys, is just really, really, really push and really just set those expectations. And that's really just my my Monday morning tip for y'all. I wish you guys the best. And if y'all have any questions, now is the time. Sherry, everything's going good with your new builds and going well?
Yep, just put a contract in on another lot, so that's 4 that we are going to probably build like 1,200 to 1,300 square foot or 1,500 square foot barndominiums, or
Good.
1,300 square foot stick build. So we're trying to supply some homes for people or buyers, affordable homing out here, I agree with you. Even when you're in the listing side, I analyzed like 4 different offers, and even though one wasn't as much sale price, all the terms that they gave put the net higher, because they didn't want sellers concessions, they didn't want, and all of that usual stuff. So I noticed that the buyer's agent that put in all the bells and whistles for their buyer didn't do them any good. It ended up costing them a deal. And then that agent called me, ringing out my ear that her buyer was the best buyer. And I'm like, anyway, stuff like that. You're right. You really got it. It's a seller's market, and it's crazy.
And at the same time,
but I always worry that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that puts you at risk for appraisals, right? If we're trying to beef up that price range, I'd rather.
That was my
I would rather, because I know I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to come down and give you all that money anyway. So I'd rather get something closer to my asking
right,
price with better conditions. And that is a safer bet for me. So
right, exactly. Yeah.
just because
And
the
that was my
price is much
concern,
higher
even
doesn't mean
though,
anything, right?
right. Yeah, and that's what I was afraid of. I said, man, I don't know if it'll appraise, and it was a VA, so you're kind of at the mercy of the appraisal.
Yeah.
But I have a question about inspections because Park Lane went under contract so many times, and it really ended up being, the inspections were crazy. They were just all over the place. And so when I analyzed all 3 inspections, they weren't like, even some of them weren't even similar with
Yeah.
the repairs, you know what I mean? So we went back and looked, and some of the repairs were still under warranty, and we had the company come back out and look, and they were like, we don't know what this inspector is talking about. You know, they were adding stuff, and one took pictures that it made it seem, you know, like it was needed repair, and actually if you stood back and you looked at the whole thing, it didn't. How can you really tell if an inspector is really doing, you know, due diligence? I mean, he just was putting things on there at one point,
Yeah.
it seemed like.
So really there is no right or wrong with inspectors, and that's the thing. Inspectors learn from their mentors, because every inspector has to go through a 2-year
Right.
mentor process. So
Intern.
whichever school
Mhm.
they went to, whichever mentor they had, whoever they, you know, they're there just to
Yep.
find anything that's wrong. And somebody, in somebody's
Yeah.
eyes, yeah, that looks wrong and that looks wrong. But in another person's eyes, that looks wrong and that looks wrong. But that looks okay. You know, it really is dependent. And that's
Yeah.
why whenever you do have 2 or 3, you're gonna get a lot of differences, because some people, it's just their opinion. Yeah, that's not a huge deal, but I'm gonna mark that. And it's just them shading liability away from them, and I'm gonna pull everything and anything I can, because if for some reason somebody says
Yeah.
that, oh wait, you missed that, well, you know, it was just a little scrape on the doorknob. I mean, why did I have to do that? But turns out if you looked inside, then it was this big old thing, and then it becomes this whole shit show of, you know, why didn't you say anything?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're just here to
Yeah.
just give as much
Well, I mean,
information.
everybody is CYA. Everybody is CYA, everything. And I understand that because people are so happy. But
Yeah.
he didn't even know where the main water source was. He went over to the fire department one on another lot, and he was trying to open that. And he wrote up that we didn't have a main water
uh,
cutoff valve.
Well,
So
then he's
I was
probably
like,
just
all you
very
had to do was go across.
inexperienced.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
he may have just
But
gotten
it
his
cost,
license or
I
something.
mean,
Yeah.
but the thing of it is, everybody was tied up over this addendum, you know, because of what he wrote up. And I just learned how to redline, boom, 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 boom. And because it is a seller's market,
Yeah.
you know, it was like, we aren't doing anything. And you know, I held my breath, but they
Mhm.
came back and said, okay.
Yeah.
So,
And that's another good
you
point,
know, it's
is
like,
sellers aren't willing to do any repairs. So you need to also have that conversation with that buyer that, you know, hey, we may have to take the house as is, because they know they have 5 or 6 other buyers, and we don't need to give any repairs if we don't want to. Yeah, the HVAC needs a service like it
yeah.
normally does, and some stuff over here. I actually, probably on the 18th of last month, I put another house under contract, and we did a 0 option fee, 0 option period. And we
Mhm.
got it, but because we had
Yeah.
to take it as is, we didn't ask for any repairs. I actually decided, and I would pay for her HVAC service, because, you know, that's pretty typical. And one of the only things that I would always request is an HVAC service. And I told her, hey, I'll pay for, as a gift at closing, I'll pay for a service for your HVAC, and everything else looked pretty decent, right? There did need some fixes and some small stuff, but in order to get the house, she needed to go 5K over, because she needed 5K in concessions, and we did 0 option just to make ourselves stand out tremendously, and we got it. And so those are the conversations. Hey,
Yeah.
we may get the house, but we're not going to get any repairs, right? We need to really understand what we
Right.
can do here to make this deal work. And then
Yeah.
also, Miss
Yeah.
Sherry,
I
I
agree.
would love to see an inventory list from you of what you are bringing up, just so we can maybe give our agents just a little head start on what those are. So if they do have a client looking in those areas, then we already have maybe a go-to person to find a seller for. So
Yeah,
that would
yeah,
be
absolutely. I don't really have a lot. I mean, I'm doing more building than, but I do need to get, I'm glad you're doing that lead source, because I was just driving around neighborhoods yesterday thinking, okay, this is the neighborhood I need listings, you know.
Yeah, perfect.
I worked with a buyer all last week, and oh my gosh,
Yeah,
it was just, they're just, and they don't get it no matter how much you communicate. Like, look, you got to submit an offer, and it is a rental, but their parents want to build a barndominium out here. So, you know, I'm working with their daughter.
Yeah.
They just, well, we're going to think about it. And even rentals, I mean, multiple applications before you even, you know, the day you go out to look for them, and you call, okay, this is the one. Well, we want to think about it overnight. Well, she just texted me, can we go look at this house at 3:00? I said, you were supposed to put an application on it like Friday.
Yeah.
It's just,
yeah, because we're having a lot
I'm
of
not going to waste
buyers.
a lot of time.
Yeah, we have a lot of out-of-state buyers that can't find houses, so now they're looking to just rent for a year and find something in the meantime.
Right.
So that's a huge
thing. But you want those leads though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want that lead though, because you want
they are going to be a buyer
be able to find them a house. Yeah. I mean, it's way down the pipeline, but
yeah,
as long as you
better to
fill up
anything, fill up spots until you get there.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to do.
Well, beautiful.
But
well,
yeah, I'm definitely.
Yeah, I'll be sure to.
One other thing, I am
looking. Huh?
Okay, let the agents also know that I'm looking for my personal flip for myself to move in, stay in, and work on myself. So if somebody has something off market, cash, let me know.
What's your price
And I think I'd love to stay out here. Yeah. About I'm thinking under 2.
Okay.
In San Antonio, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because it's getting crowded in here.
Yeah. I mean, you have a lot of puppies right now, so.
I have 10 dogs in an RV. It's like.
All right. Well, then that sounds good. Well, then if y'all need anything from me, feel free to give me a call or shoot me a text. And then later on this week, we'll be sure to send everything out to everybody. That way we can help get y'all some phone numbers and hopefully some good leads. Okay, doke.
Sounds good.
Y'all have a great rest of your day. Bye now.